As the bad weather rumbles on and I'm left with nothing interesting to do, and as such nothing interesting to write about, I will write about my illness and what it's like having a mind that plays tricks on you. Bipolar is an interesting disorder, some would say unfair. It comes and goes, you see. Sometimes I am so unwell I can't look after myself properly. Sometimes I need emergency treatment, sometimes I need residential care, at all times I'm judged to not be suitable for stressful jobs, or jobs with rotating shifts, but sometimes my mind functions very well. I know this because after some lengthy and serious mental evaluation and testing I got labeled as a borderline genius, when my mind works. Which, let's be honest, is a strange thing to be told when A. You're in your 40s and B. You did the whole exam in a second language. The reason bipolar is unfair is that if I had my symptoms all the time I would be given support constantly to deal with the illness. But because it cycles, I get support when I become ill and ask for it. But by the very nature of the illness, you're not always aware that the illness has come back. When your brain stops working properly, you are relying on your brain to tell you. This one loophole in the treatment causes much more damage to my life than you would think. For example, if I feel well I can work just as hard as a normal person. But then I might go slightly manic, and want to work harder for longer. I have more energy, I can't sleep, I can't stop moving, I'm loving life. Then the voices start. Or was it a voice? Was it on the radio? Was it Bobsai in the other room? It was probably nothing, just keep working. Then the visual hallucinations start. Just gently at first. Did that just move? Is that a camera over there? Was that Andy standing in the doorway? You have to remember that you rely on your brain to tell you what's real and what's not, and as you can probably imagine, once your brain starts telling you lies, life becomes really hard. My normal cycle is 18 to 24 months, give or take. Just enough time to get a job, work hard, pay off debts, get recognized for your hard work and commitment, become ill again and lose everything. That is the cycle my life has taken for the last 20-odd years. So that's the bad side of bipolar, but there can be a fun side too. Hallucinations are not always confusing and scary, sometimes they can be fun. One time I talked to God. Now obviously I didn't really talk to God, it was a hallucination, but it was fun nonetheless. However, I do want to point out that stories like the burning bush are 100% consistent with bipolar disorder. I have seen burning rooms while hearing voices. Anyway, back to the story of my chat with God, where I proved he didn't exist. Wait. Before you jump up and down. This is how I know it was a hallucination. My hallucination couldn't outwit me. If it was really God, he would have done. So, a little backstory. I was brought up Roman Catholic, I went to Roman Catholic school, I was an altar server at a Roman Catholic church, I made pilgrimages to Lourdes with disabled children. I read the Bible and I was a full member of the church. So having a chat with the Almighty was a bit of unexpected excitement on my way into town on the number 2 bus. Basically the conversation sort of followed the route you would expect. God calls my name and introduces himself. I very politely say, "No, not having this, you are a hallucination." God, this time in the big booming God voice, says I am God. I say, "Okay, can you clear something up for me that's bothered me since school?" "Go on," says the booming voice. "Okay, so, what are we taught about God?" 1. God is all-knowing. 2. God is all-seeing. 3. God is perfect. 4. God does not make mistakes. So, if we turn to prayer because it is the most personal way to experience you, to encounter you and to grow in knowledge of you. According to the book of Ephesians, God's desire is for us to pray on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests, Ephesians 6:18. And traditionally, Catholic prayers fall into 4 types: adoration, praising God; contrition, asking for God's forgiveness; petition, asking God for a favor; thanksgiving, showing God gratitude. Petition is the important one. It is one of the 4 recognized types of prayer. Catholics believe you can ask God for anything from a favor to a miracle. It is one of the founding tenets of their belief. And why shouldn't it be? the effectiveness of petitional prayers are confirmed several times in the Bible. For example, in Matthew 7:7 it says, "Ask, and it will be given to you, seek, and you will find, knock, and it will be opened to you." And Matthew 21:22, "And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive, if you have faith." Also Mark 11:24, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." And again in Matthew 6:6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." And once more in 1 John 5:15, "And if we know that he hears us whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of him." So my question is this, God. Let's imagine that I am seriously ill with cancer. I might be dying. Now, we know God sees all, knows all, is perfect, and does not make mistakes. So, you God, know if I am to die or not. You know if I am going to be called up to heaven. The answer is either yes, or no. But if the answer is yes, and I'm going to die, and then people pray, and because they prayed I live. That means you changed your mind because of what a human thought. That means your plan was not perfect. You did make a mistake. If you know everything, you know if I live or die. You know if I get prayed for. If you say humans have free will, so you didn't know if they would pray, it is an admission that you are imperfect, do not know everything, and changed your mind based on what humans think. I put it to you, God, that petitioning prayer, one of the cornerstones of the Catholic faith, as repeatedly confirmed in the Bible, proves that you don't exist in the form confirmed in the Bible. God went quiet and I never heard from him again. Not yet anyway.